Alright guys, TacticalRab here again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. With Shotzzy now becoming a 3-time world champion, twice in Call of Duty and once over in Halo, things have not changed all that much. Leakzzy is back in business again after all the drama that went down before the world championship as to whether aCQuRcy was actually potentially coaching OpTic Texas. Certainly some indications with Leakzzy last night this may well have been the case. Why exactly have OpTic not confirmed this thing officially? Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. First of all, just a quick update on this, thought was interesting. Just to show how impressive Kenny's performance was this season and even the last few seasons, because we saw the other day this stat of Crimsix topping the list for the players with the most victories in a season on the most possible occasions. So Crim had at least joint or the most championship wins of any player in the league for 6 seasons that he played. Scump had it for 4 and Kenny also has it for 4. But just to kind of show the company that Kenny is in here, because 2018, 19, 22, 24 Kenny had joint or the most championship victories of any player. The other list, if you go further down to 3, you know, there's no new players on it really. Like, it's only, okay, Kenny's been around a while, but of those that have really only been around for a large part of the CDL era, you've got Formal, Aches, TP, Clayster on here. So Kenny's the only one that's done really anything like this over the last several years. Makes it maybe more impressive. This as well was confirmed by the Subliners yesterday. They're not going to be the Subliners anymore. They're still the Subliners. A little bit unclear exactly what's going on. But they did a video yesterday basically saying thanks for the time as New York, pretty much confirming the branding will now be shifting in large part to what we see over with Cloud9. So, you know, I know this is a bit of a shame for many. People are looking forward to Cloud9 coming in, but I do think the Subliners branding grew on many of us. Like, when it first came around, the yellow was kind of controversial. Did people like it? Did they not? I think over time, the Subliners brand has grown on many people. And it seems that it's kind of going to be going away. I don't know whether it's still going to be New York, whether it's going to be like New York Cloud9, which is a bit weird. New York Cloud9ers. I don't know if I really like that either. But maybe there's a couple of options. It just comes at an interesting time for them to effectively confirm that it's a little bit unclear what's happening behind the scenes. This comes at the same time, I mentioned this yesterday, but the OpTic guys now pretty much exclusively have just OpTic in their bio rather than OpTic Texas. Okay, it's still OpTic Texas in the header, they still play for OpTic Texas. But there are some questions on this, just because Hex mentioned it on the watch party that, you know, he was excited to bring OpTic Gaming back to actually have the original OpTic Gaming branding. And then last night, he commented on one of my videos. Also, congrats to Hex on the 1 million subscribers that he smashed through this weekend with a thanks to the watch party, because I know he's been hoping for that for a long time. But this is an interesting comment. To Kick the Pal says, I think Hex probably just told them to put OpTic Gaming instead of OpTic Texas. He's always hated the city-based model. And Hex says, yeah, he knows. So the implication obviously being that Hex has told the boys, all right, you know, let's be OpTic Gaming now rather than OpTic Texas. Still a little bit unclear whether that's going to be a permanent change, but you know, Hex obviously indicating that he's not a biggest fan of the city-based thing, which I think we all knew. The question is whether it's going to stay or not. I think it's going to go eventually, as I said yesterday. I don't know how long it's going to stay around for, but there's just a couple of indications now that things might be changing sooner rather than later, because I think ideally, if Cloud9 are basically sunsetting the New York Subliners, they just want to be Cloud9, as they are at the Esports World Cup in the regular league. But what do organizations like, you know, Boston, Minnesota, let's say Toronto think about that, where they've had some sort of pretty strong city-based connection that's actually worked? I don't really know, but the future is going to be interesting. Lots of things are changing for next year of the league. I don't know whether this is going to change as well, but there's been, of course, some indications towards those lines. A couple of other cool things here. I thought this is kind of incredible now, looking at, well, this picture from the OpTic Texas World Championship victory. This is, well, quite the shot right here. But yeah, Shotzzy with 2 rings. Technically 3 if you include the Halo one. Kenny with 2, Dashy and Pro with their first, Karma now with 4, 3 as a player, 1 as a coach, and of course JP as well. Now, of course, not noted here was aCQuRcy. It was not on the stage and not part of OpTic, but there were questions as to exactly what his contribution was going into the tournament that we shall discuss here in a second. Couple of quick versus cards. I know that Dashy and Cell have talked before about, like, you know, whether they'd actually team up and play alongside each other. I don't know if it's ever going to happen. To be honest, I thought that it never would happen. And you can look at their play styles and say, well, there's no way it's going to work. Cell's a slow AR. Dashy's transitioned his style into a slower, more, you know, hill time orientated AR to help the team win over the last couple of years. Do I think Dashy's capable, or Cellium is capable, of running a faster AR and making it work? Yes. So I do think the Dashy Cell duo could work. It's just, it never seemed like it was going to be possible, because even though OpTic might have made a change, FaZe were never going to make a change. All of a sudden, it now looks the other way around, that OpTic aren't going to make a move, but FaZe potentially might. And, we've talked about Cellium over the last couple of days. If they were to get rid of him, which still seems unlikely, but if it was to happen, then what would they do? Where would he go? And OpTic, of course, or whatever, is not going to be happening, is it, realistically? But just to look kind of the head-to-head here, pretty interesting to see the head-to-head still favours Dashy of all time, right? 15-11. In finals, it's 1-1. Online, it's 6-6. But on LAN, actually, Dashy's beaten Cell 9 times to 5. Despite the fact that, of course, Cell has won more events in his career. That was a big talking point for some time. And, of course, now Dashy's got the championship victory. They've never played, though, at the World Championship, which is pretty interesting. And likely it'll happen in the coming years, you would well imagine, if this trend continues. This is another interesting comparison between Shotzzy and HyDra, right? Superstars of the league, there's no doubt about it. Event wins, most stats really favour Shotzzy, which does make sense because he's been around a bit longer than HyDra has. Even though, to be fair, it's only like one more season, right? Shotzzy came in 2020, HyDra came in 2021, but really, stamped his authority on the scene, I would say 22, and then most certainly 2023 in Modern Warfare 2 was rather good at that game, and was rather good at this game as well. Online, though, HyDra leads their head-to-head 6-2, but everywhere else, Shotzzy's dominating 7-1 on LAN, Shotzzy against HyDra, reminding me a little bit of the Shotzzy versus Slasher record, which is pretty absurd. Like, Slasher's record against, like, every player in the league is pretty good, I guess, apart from maybe Formal, who he had a bit of a tough time against historically, but against Shotzzy, I don't know if Slasher's beaten him yet. Is it not like 14-0 or something like that in Shotzzy's favour as a player? And it's not quite the same for HyDra, but on LAN and even at Champs, it's maybe not too dissimilar overall. And in finals now, they are 1-0 because they just beat them at the World Championship. But speaking of Shotzzy, he had a few words to say on this. Not intentionally, obviously, but, this is what this guy does. So this came out on the 5th of July, right? Accuracy spotted in the OpTic team chat in the Discord. Now, Pred came out and said after the World Championship, our accuracy was just there, he was just chilling in the call. And look, that's what you might expect him to say if they're trying to keep things under wraps to some degree. And we'll explain why that might be the case here in a second. But Shotzzy comes out on stream yesterday with this clip. I just find it pretty hilarious because they're talking about warming up on Das House, right? And we heard the OpTic guys talk about this. I think JP mentioned it, that when they're warming up for Sunday, because there wasn't really anyone to scrim, they just played 2v2 hardpoints or whatever on maps like Das House and others in the game. And therefore, Shotzzy's basically saying to Lamar, hey, yeah, you know about that one, Lamar, do you not? And Accuracy's like, what do you mean? What do you mean, Ants? I don't know what you're talking about, type thing. And then, of course, you get Shotzzy's realization that, yeah, okay, maybe you shouldn't have said that.
Crazy, man. Crazy.
Wait, what are we doing, by the way? So we're warming up in a free-for-all?
We're going to run a free-for-all, and then we're going to play this shit. Like,
wait, let's do it Dot's house. So wait, Dot's house, we'll get this warmed up, I promise you. Lamar knows.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know anything.
Oh, yeah, no, he doesn't know shit, actually. Wait, let's see here. Wait, Tommy, you on the game?
No, I'm gonna eat this shit real quick, and I'm gonna hop on.
DC, it's my first time ever going to DC.
That's the part I miss. I miss
Really?
yelling at people. I can't wait to turn
Yeah, you been there?
Wait.
turn the stream on.
That's in Seattle, right?
Muted so I can pull shit up and
No, bro.
No.
No. Listen, Washington is in Seattle. Washington, DC is not like a state.
Wait,
What am I listening to right now?
Lamar, he just asked if DC is in Seattle.
Wait. Are you dead ass? Because I literally been telling everyone.
Thank God for Call of Duty, bro.
No, sorry, Washington is Seattle. You know what I mean? Like, Seattle isn't Washington, is what I mean.
Bro, so we're going to fucking basically next to New York?
We're going to basically Virginia is where we're going.
Oh, what the fuck?
So Accuracy was, teased about this during the weekend. He was kind of talking about it a little bit, as much as he could potentially say on what he was maybe doing for OpTic behind the scenes there. But whatever happens, it does seem to have helped rather a bit, because Pred, who he played with before, won the World Championship. Kenny, who he played with before, won the World Championship. You'd argue there might well be something in that. Now, the speculation is, I saw lots of talk about this on the Reddit yesterday as well, on exactly why OpTic don't want to say anything officially, because I think it's quite clear. Like, I don't think Shotzzy was just joking here. I think he genuinely did unintentionally, kind of leak this, and it is another classic Shotzzy moment. But Accuracy was likely getting involved with the team. I mean, like, Pred said that he was just there chilling. Do I believe that? Not necessarily. It's something that Pred would say to maybe defend the situation and make sure that this isn't an official thing. The general speculation on this is because Accuracy is still playing for the Minnesota Rocket at the Esports World Cup. He was a player for them this season. He's going to be a player for them at the Esports World Cup. That contract is still in place. So, you know, the theory would go that if you've got a contract to work with a certain team, maybe, you know, offering help to some other team isn't really aligned with what the clauses in the contract may potentially say. So if you're going to do it, make it unofficial, you know, don't do any kind of official confirmations on exactly what's going on. Now, look, do I think there's anything wrong with this? I mean, no, because Rocket weren't even at the World Championship, right? So, you know, if this is the case, we're pretty sure it is, then I don't really see why it matters. But I also do see why OpTic want to make it kind of noted that this actually was not the case and there was nothing going on an official capacity. I just wonder, right? Like, let's say the World Championship or the World Cup ends and, you know, Rocker, they bow out or they do well or whatever, and Accuracy decides to step away after the tournament to no longer compete as a player. Maybe OpTic come along and give him a coaching job for next season. Maybe somebody else does. Maybe FaZe decide that it's time to change up their situation. They offer Accuracy the opportunity to do something. As and when that may occur, are we going to hear about it then, right? Like, after the Rocker thing is done, are we going to hear more about it then? I don't really know. But, look, Shotzzy was certainly hinting at it, and whatever happens, it seemed to work rather well, because it felt like something a little bit changed in the OpTic camp behind the scenes. They obviously brought the energy through. Pred was probably at his best as a player when he was alongside Accuracy on Seattle Surge, and, well, he was able to some extent, replicate that form here on certainly the Championship Sunday, but also the rest of the days of the World Championship that went through. This is pretty funny as well. So Shotzzy, Zoomer, Accuracy, Zinni, they were in a ranked lobby, and on the other side it was your boy Ace the Stocksman, right? So of course on the watch parties, on the dope check show and all this stuff, I'm not saying I'd get any more than 11 kills here to be fair, but you know, he was getting roasted, so I thought I'd pile on to be fair. They put him in the blender, and yeah, I think he went 11 in 28 at the end of this one. No real surprise, but it is what it is. Obviously some highlights for the World Championship not all that long ago, but that's pretty much where we're going to be leaving it for today. Very much enjoyed your thoughts on all this stuff in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.